Hey, what is up guys? So you guys have seen the new Amorphage support and you guys are really excited to see the deck in action, and this is going to be an excellent example of how the deck can play. And even though not everything is available right now in all these dueling applications, whether it be DevPro, YGO Pro, it's definitely a very good example of how the deck wants to play, because it's not a pendulum deck that goes pendulum scale, summon a bunch of monsters, attempt to attack for game. This deck relies more on a control-based floodgate mechanic, where you keep on summoning your monsters over and over, and yeah, you're going to have to tribute them, but you're just going to wall up every single time. And in a duel against a pendulum-based deck, where you need to use your extra deck, because some pendulum decks, they don't even need to touch the extra deck. They're only interested in their pendulum monsters, but Raid Raptors, or like a lot of these other pendulum decks, they need to use the extra deck. And obviously, you know, cards that say, you know, I'm negating all your XYZs, fusions, or heck, even the cards that say like neither player can special summon monsters from the extra decks, period, except for Amorphage monsters. That's a really insane effect, and the guy can't rank up. Like, this is not me, by the way, someone else took my username, but anyways, this is, like I said, an excellent duel to show you guys how you want to play this deck, because they don't have very much attack. Most of them actually even have 0 attack. And so you want to put them in defense mode, and like I said, the goal of this deck is to defend up and stall your opponent until you like lock them out of their win condition, essentially. Again, it can be through spells, it can be through traps, it can be through summoning cards through the extra deck. And so this guy over here, he just can't have access to his extra deck, and he can't get over this 2050 monster. It's kind of sad, but that's just how some decks work. And so the goal of this deck, and thanks Mr. Halo for sending this replay, because it's such a perfect example. You can obviously use that effect where you have to destroy one of the pendulum scales or tribute the monster. You use that at the right moment when you already have everything set up, and then you go for your big push. I know I said it wasn't a pendulum deck that you just pendulum summon a bunch of monsters, but I mean, like, you have to wait and stall, and then you get to do it. So that's the way that the deck should be working. And again, later on, you can stop your opponent from using spells, traps, and monster effects, and you can stop them from using things from the extra deck as long as you have the appropriate cards at the right time. But you'll see this guy over here, he's going to be able to make some pretty strong plays now that, you know, he's only got 2 more Amorphage monsters, so the monster effect just makes it so he can't special summon from the extra deck, but you guys will see what happens very soon indeed. And it's pretty awesome, and I like how, like, there's so much back row in this deck, and there's no fear man. But the thing is, like I said, there is an Amorphage monster that says that your opponent, well, it's that you can't activate trap cards except for Amorphage trap cards. So basically, they don't let your opponent use any of their trap spells or whatever, except for, you know, basically you can use all of yours. It's really unfair mechanics. And that's just the way that the deck wants to play, and that's just, you know, just how the archetype works. Finally, the guy draws the Acres attack, so he's going to be able to finally make some plays pretty soon here indeed. But there's a lot of great support for this, especially this card, the Amorphage Infection. So he's going to go ahead and get rid of 2 cards, but he's able to get that search off of the Infection, and then he's going to go ahead and summon the last Strix over here. Then he's going to go ahead and defense up. I'm going to go ahead and once again go for those pendulum cards. Now, he still doesn't have a Amorphage card on the field, so his opponent can still make these from the extra deck. But when you finally make these strong plays, like I mentioned before, where you make it so both players can start using the extra deck, you make it such a strong field with Ignister. You got the Draco Slayer over here, and you have the Dinosaur Powerful, the Mighty Draco Slayer, which is a really, really crazy effect. It's pendulum monster you control and in your pendulum zone can't be destroyed by opponent's card effects. Or by battles, and that's a pretty nasty effect. But this card over here, the Raid Raptor Towers, 3,500, pretty strong effect indeed. But the tribute for the Iridium over here, Iridium is just going to have a lot of attack, just because this card boosts up by 100 per Amorphage card in the field. He's got double of them, so that's boosting this card's attack. And the Raid Raptor guys, his trump card that was gonna like seal the deal on the game was kind of out of luck there. But look how much attack this thing has, 4,850, and then neither player can summon monsters from the extra deck. Oh my gosh, Yu-Gi-Oh! You're getting out of control. You're just making it so like one player just can't play the game, and that's just gonna be I think the way that this game is going towards. It's going towards your opponent cannot make a move, and that's kind of your win condition. Although this one stalls, this one gives you enough time, I would say, for most decks that are reliant on speed to kind of make their card. Anyways, unless of course you open up pretty decent and you're able to consistently throw out your monsters and defend up. But you can see that the deck can technically be OTK'd. I think one thing that really hurts this deck is things like Raigeki and Dark Hole. Obviously, if you have that monster that makes it so neither player can use like spell cards except for the Amorphage spell cards, then yeah, it's kind of difficult to deal with just a little bit. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think of the Amorphages in this. And there's actually a really good card that I don't think we talked about. Real quick, I'm just going to mention this card, Front Observer, or Frontline Observer in the TCG. So during the end phase, if this card was normal summon, you could add 1 Earth Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. That searches out pretty much everything. And if it was normal summon during the end phase of the summoning player's next turn, you can tribute it to add 1 Earth monster from your deck to your hand. So you can actually add 2 cards with it if it survives. It's got 1,000 attack, so it's probably going to die, and your opponent's probably going to get rid of it. But in the off chance that you happen to have like a bottomless or a warning or something like that, and you could protect this card, that's a huge, huge plus for this deck, because like, I mean, they basically have their version of Stratos, although it is during the end phase and the deck is technically a little bit slow already. But nonetheless, pretty freaking amazing replay. 4,850, and your opponent, like, if you got all a bunch of the new ones out, it's like your opponent can't use spells, can't use traps, can't use monster effects, can't use the extra deck. Well, scoop it up, boys. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. It's been your boy Will Smith, and thanks again to Halo for sending in this awesome replay. But it's been your boy Will Smith, signing out.